Today I wish to address the deeper aspects of Brahma sadhana, of why there is suffering in human life. The pain and suffering endured by living beings, not only human, but of different species, is a part and parcel of life in this world. In the material world, in Bhur and Bhuvar Loka, where there is manifestation in all three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, and so there is material existence. There is both light and shadow, joy and pain. Both are a part of the experience of living beings, not only human beings, but all beings. And depending upon the degree of consciousness and awareness in the being, they will be more or less aware of their suffering. And as human beings have maximum amount of awareness, maximum amount of conscious beingness in the evolution of life, they tend to experience the pain and suffering vividly as they experience the joy and love and connectedness vividly. And in the search for healing, the search for happiness, and the reduction in suffering, people look within themselves, focusing their attention on the hurt and pain. When the society is very basic and people are dealing more with physical problems and survival, they will focus their attention on the physical world. And in those situations, they do not have the privilege to look at their psychic needs or their spiritual needs. They must simply survive, to find enough food to eat, shelter. This consumes all of their attention. And so for a person to really develop spiritually and to find their spiritual essence, they need to have the opportunity, to have some of their basic physical needs met. When those needs are met, then the psychic needs arise, the mental needs, the addressing of whether you are happy or sad, whether you have loneliness, anger, sorrow. The emotions, feelings, and thoughts become important when there is sufficient leisure, when the physical needs are met. Then the psychic needs arise. And as they arise, so does the opportunity for spiritual development, spiritual advancement. Because in facing those internal demons, in searching to find happiness, to find a way to reduce suffering, eventually people are led to the spiritual realms. The recognition that the only true alleviation of suffering comes when time cannot thwart your experience, when the experience is not changeable. And so people have looked to that which is vast and discovered the vastness within, and the inner self of the self, the cosmic self, which is the self of all beings, which is the core of every living being. This discovery comes when there is true motivation to move beyond the distractions of the senses and the allurements of external circumstances. Often it is suffering in human life that drives people to inquiry, that motivates them to inquiry, to try to sincerely find out where there is real happiness. So suffering is not necessarily your enemy. It is a part and parcel of human life. A teacher in the path of your journey home. One that can direct you away from distractions and bring you to your inner source. The real spiritual path is not one of simply sitting for meditation, saying a mantra, or doing some other practice, and then feeling peace and bliss and calmness, and then getting up and going about your day, forgetting all about your meditation. No. That is an important experience to calm the mind, to train the mind to quiet, and then to sink into divine presence. But that alone will not bring you to your divine source. For your heart and mind must be focused. Your desire to know the Supreme must be focused. And then the arrow of your intent pierces the veil of ignorance and leads you to the truth. Without this focus, there is difficulty to pierce the veil of ignorance. Meditation can be incorporated as part of the ego structure. It is suffering. It is the circumstances of life, the confrontation with losses, old age, sorrows that stir the heart and mind into action. To go beyond the world of dualities, of light and dark, of happiness and sorrow. To move beyond this to the unitary whole of being. Bound in Maya, the way out of Maya is like a maze. It is most difficult. But if one's heart and mind are sincere, deeply sincere, if you have tired of the dream, you have suffered, and you are aware that you want something more, then that sincerity brings you to the source of your being, and through the grace of the infinite, you are drawn home into the light, into truth, into the unitary whole, like the drop of water dropped in the sea. You become part of the sea, part of the one. You have always been part of the one, and that realization comes. It's only been the veil of illusion, of dualities, of light and dark, that have fogged your true vision. But when the third eye opens, then the true vision comes. And you begin to see that that was the dream. The reality is the great dreamer has always been. And the dream occurs within the great dreamer, within the mind of the dreamer. And who are all the characters composed of in the dream? But the mind of the dreamer. They have no substance of their own. So the illusion of the small self has no substance in the cosmic being. The cosmic being is the dreamer, the one of substance. The material universe is the dream. Passing, illusionary. It has a relative existence. Within the context of the dream is real. The characters are real. But the dream is only a fading dream that comes and goes. and the characters dissolve into the mind of the dreamer, or they never had a separate substance. You, as you know yourself as an individual, do not have a separate substance. You are composed of the one. But in the fall from grace into duality, your consciousness has believed itself to be separate, unique, and so has attached to a variety of experiences, lifetimes upon lifetimes, body upon body, evolving a unique identity. But there comes a time when this process becomes burdensome, and the longing wells up to return to the quietness, to the peace, to the love unconditional, to return home from whence you have come, to break the bonds of illusion and live in reality. This deep longing creates a restless searching that goes on throughout your life until one day you cease to search in the external world and you search within your own heart and your own mind. And when the real sincerity is there, you are drawn to the inner guide, to the inner helper, to the safe haven of the Sadguru, the Divine One, the God, the all-knowing, omniscient consciousness. And there, when you surrender all that you are and all that you have, that one showers an endless grace on you as you surrender, you let go, you open, and the one becomes your awareness. Like the drop in the water in the sea, you know the infinite. And you realize that this ego self is a dream, a created dream in the mind of the great dreamer. And that everything you have thought you are and you have identified as unique is merely composed of that infinite being. Dreamed within the mind of the infinite. And as you let go of the dream, as you surrender the dream, the infinite one becomes your whole, becomes who you are. You melt into that one. You realize that one has been all along the witness of your being, the self of yourself, that which you have thought to be your individuality is nothing but composed of Him. That infinite love, that deep truth is your essence, not to be acquired, but for the dream to be surrendered. So that the truth can set you free. So that love, fulfilled, envelops you. You are whole, undivided. All those you have loved and lost are part of that whole. They are part, they are love, undivided. Separation and loss only occur in the dream of duality. In the wholeness of being, nothing is separate, nothing is lost, nothing dies, and nothing is born. Though the dream goes on, all remains the same, in that the mind is stunned and does not wander. In that, peace is found. Deep love, the fulfillment of love. So this is the deep path of sadhana. It requires not only sitting meditation, but a sincere longing, a deep readiness to return home and know love fulfilled. Are you ready to walk this path? Are you ready to surrender that which you have believed yourself to be? Surrender your will to the divine will, your thoughts to the infinite, your very identity to the Sadguru, to the Eternal One. This is the true path of sadhana. Sanghachatam, Sangvadadvam, Devavagam, Yata Purve, Samjnana Upasate. Samahani Varakuti Samana Hridaya Nivaha Samanumastu Omana Yatava Susaha Sati.